For the last couple of years, I have been trying out various tabletop war games to see which one I like the most. And there are bits and pieces about all of them that I like. And the thing that I like the most about Blackout is how fast it is and how easy it is to get started. This could very well be the future of tabletop gaming, and I'll explain why, so stick around. For those of you who are new to the channel, whenever I play a new game, I like to give it my little version of a review where I talk about the 5 things that I think are super important for a tabletop game to have. And those 5 things are the models, the rules, the value, getting into the game, the story or the lore of the game, and lastly, probably the most important one, is whether or not it's fun. Because why are you playing if it's not fun, right? So let's talk about those. First off with the models, the big thing about Blackout that you need to know going into is that these are 3D printed models. These are resin models that are printed at their facility and shipped out to you. And what that means is that they're going to come with maybe a couple of the tiny little sprues to release. And more importantly, they're going to come almost fully assembled. The mechs that come with their stuff are a little bigger and they come in, 4 or 5 pieces, if that. Which, if you've played tabletop gaming, you know that putting your army together can just be a nightmare. And so it's really nice to just be able to pull it out, glue it to a base, paint it, and base it. Okay? And so, honestly, the models in this are really good quality. I think they're amazing. 3D printers, my whole video last week is just on how amazing 3D printing has become and how other companies should be doing more and more of it. Okay? These are high quality. I dropped 2 of these from about 8 feet up. Only one of them broke, and it only broke in the places where it had been glued together. So the resin holds up. They look great. They have a little bend to them. They're not going to just shatter into 1,000 pieces. If you want to kit bash them, you can cut them. You can do things to them. You can change them around. The models are awesome quality. And if you want to get into this game fast, you can have these models glued to a base and, painted with a sponge in about an hour. And if you want to learn anything about painting with a sponge, I did a video on that a couple weeks ago. I'll link it here in the comments. Super easy. I feel like they look super good. Okay, but the models, honestly, I love them. They're great. They're good quality, and you don't have to fight them. You just put them together and paint them however you want. So for the models, honestly, I'd give them a 5 out of 5. I think they're great. I love them. And hey, they withstood the fall 8 feet under concrete test. Now, next up, the rules. The rules of Blackout is what sets it apart from everything else that I've played. So they sent me the 2-player starter set, and it comes with their rule book. And their rule book is this. 40 pages of like cardstock sized instructions. Okay, it is quick and easy to read. They have examples of everything. It's crazy to me that there's so much involved in this with so little that you have to read. And one of the things that I love about the rules in this game is that it's not rocket science. Like, let's be honest, it is easy to grasp. They have videos online that you can watch that basically show you what you're doing too. You can get somebody who might never play tabletop games playing this game.
I mean, it literally could be anyone.
Especially when you can finish a match in 20 minutes. Okay, can matches go longer than that? Sure. Can they go faster than that? Yeah, I mean, obviously they can. But I mean, you can play a round of this game easily in under an hour. And with everything fitting in a nice, convenient little container, you can take this thing anywhere. It's basically a board game, and you'll have a lot more fun with it than most board games out there. So for rules, 5 out of 5. They're fantastic. It's fun. It's easy to get into, and I like it. I like it a lot. Now, moving on to the story of this game. Their website has the story, and basically it is, we've got this new planet, people are fighting over it and fighting over its resources, and you can pick one of these factions that kind of specialize in this, that, or the other, to fight.
Is that it? Is that everything?
Lore-wise, there's not a ton that goes into it. It's enough to get you involved. It's enough to get you into your faction. The factions aren't huge right now, and I know with time that will just grow, and the stories behind each of them will grow as well. But I mean, if you're looking for like some super deep, in-depth novels of lore, this isn't that game. This is focused clearly on the gameplay and just getting people involved and trying it. So I mean, for a story-wise, it's not bad. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It's, you know, easy enough to get me involved, and you know, if you want to learn more, I'm sure with time it'll come. So moving on to the value of Blackout. The 2-player starter set is on sale right now. It's just over $100, and that comes with 15 models, 2 of which are larger mechs. You know, it comes with all the rules, it comes with tokens, it comes with dice. It literally comes with everything that you need to play this game. A 2-player starter set for $100 is about the best value you're going to find, you know, for anything. Aside from a ruler, which everyone has, or a tape measure or something like that, it has everything that you need to play the game. Would I have liked to see more things involved in this? Sure. I mean, yeah, I would have loved to see a little tape measure. I would have loved to see an additional set of dice, you know. But all in all, I've seen starter sets that do a lot worse and give you a lot less. The game has everything that it needs to be fun and to be interesting, and it gives you pretty good quality product. So value-wise, this is another 5 for me. This is a great one, and maybe I'm being too liberal with my scoring. You know, maybe it's closer to a 4, but it's in there. It's between a 4 and a 5. We'll say it's a 4.5. Okay, but it's great. So lastly, is it fun? Fun is one of the things that I always feel like super weird at telling you if it's fun or not, because for me, it was a blast. It was so fun to get the miniatures down on the table and play with them, and it's a very high risk, high reward game. The units have 1 hit point, basically. So if you get shot, if you do something dumb with your character, it's going to die. It kind of reminds me of like chess, in that if you put a pawn in a bad spot, it's going to get killed. It's the same with this, right? And the bigger units have a couple hits, so they can take that, but it feels like everything has value, and you got to be careful with what you're doing. And so, you know, maybe you're going to move a little slower, maybe you're going to think about it, but it's one of those things that, you know, after you lose half your units or the game's over in 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you start over. You start over and you play again. If you like to play games over and over again and get better at them and play your opponent, not just play the list that they brought with them, but actually play against your opponent, then yeah, this game is a blast. This game is so fun. For me, easy 5. Easy 5. It's a great game. And now, what did I mean at the beginning when I said, is this the future? All of these big war games are trying to get people into the games by creating smaller versions. You know, we got Warhammer with their Spearhead or with their Kill Team, you know, and things like that. And a lot of these companies create these 2-player box sets that are just dumbed down versions of the game. Why not just create a fast-paced version of the game? We've seen it before. We've seen it in video games like League of Legends, and they have their mobile version, which is half the time. You know, there's different ways to do that, but the future of gaming has to be easy to get into. It has to be fun. It has to have the qualities that Blackout has. And honestly, if I played any of those other games and they had an easy, small rulebook, fast-paced version of the game, I would be so much more likely to get into it and so much more likely to try and get friends involved in it, because it wouldn't be this 1,000-hour investment before you can actually play the game. You know, it's a, hey, come over for the weekend or come over one night this week. I'll show you how to play. And if you want to play, I got half an army that you can have, and you can paint it over this next week, and then we'll play again next week. That's what makes Blackout just amazing. And I love it. The company that's behind it, they're veterans, they're military veterans. They know actual combat, and they put their knowledge of that into this game. There are leaning mechanics. There are some really cool mechanics involved in the game that just give it an extra bit of skill. You can play dumbed down, you can play easy, you can do whatever you want. And you can make it as fun as you want. So honestly, if you haven't tried Blackout, give it a try. It's awesome. They update stuff constantly. You know, it's just a great, easy game to get into. It's one of those games that you can play this weekend, go a couple weeks without playing it, and then pick it up and start off right where you were and just have fun with it and bring anyone you want into playing it. It is an absolute blast. And that's why it got this score. So anyway, if you want to see the videos about how I painted these with the sponge, they're here. If you want to hear my thoughts on 3D printing, they're down below in the comments as well. If you like the content we're making here at Pulsegate Games, please like, subscribe, drop a comment below, even if it's to tell me how bad my facial hair is coming in that I'm trying to grow. Okay? Leave a comment. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. You know, we're all about making your tabletop gaming experience better, especially by focusing on those games that maybe you don't know so well or would like to know more. I hope to do more with Blackout in the future. I've got Infinity content and War Machine content lined up and ready, and a couple other games you might not have heard of as well. So stick around. And as always, don't spend so much time building your world, putting it together, painting it, whatever, that you forget to spend some time in it. Until next time.